So, funny story. The game is up. The game is on. It just won't capture. It just captures a white screen. And a dot. I get a whole dot. Wait, now it does. Briefly, what was that? Okay, I'm going to have to do weird troubleshooting. I'm going to basically have to, like, play a bit and then check back with the stream to see if it's... No, not continue. No, stop that. Back. To see if it can see any of that. Yeah? Okay. Well, I guess the stream can begin then. In the year 45 XDX, deep space explorers entered a wormhole. They sent back an unclear transmission describing an artifact of immense power. They were never heard from again. The year is now 55 XDX. Humanity has spent years training explorers to enter the wormhole and retrieve the artifact. So far, none have succeeded. It is your turn to search for the artifact. So this game has a nothing story. Go and get the MacGuffin. Then that's it. That's the story. But the things we'll be doing to get said artifact are a bit more interesting. Not a lot, though. This is, I guess I would call it a mouse-controlled shmup, or not even shmup, you don't shoot. Just Danmaku, bullet hell. Hey. Agent, this is home base. Do you read us? Yes, I read loud and clear, home base. Wonderful. We're currently in hyperdrive, headed towards the location of the artifact. Once you exit hyperdrive, there will be a wormhole. Once you breach it, we'll lose all contact. Is your mission objective clear? Yeah. Wonderful. Good luck, Agent. Throwing another one into the blender. Because apparently we have not succeeded at doing this in 1100 years. So you see I have a little cursor here, and that's going to be the impetus for the whole gameplay. That cursor is my entire being, and I need to have it not get hit by things. And that's the whole game. And you might think, wow, that sounds really easy. No. Sense presence being human presence. Where am I? No understand question, query, inquiry, a question. Is nowhere here, there. Am Val. State intention, purpose. I'm here for an artifact. Here for the... Many search for the... Huh? I must be talking about the artifact. Many human fail, unsuccessful. Must help Val. With what? Val had eye, viewport. Now no eye, viewport, window. Entity named Shallock. Shallock stole eye, viewport, retrieve eye. What do I get for helping you? Huh. Return with eye. And so this is essentially a boss rush. Here's Val. We'll probably be fighting him last. But over here's Shallock. Am Shallock, most supreme entity being, human, puny, small, insignificant. I'm here for the eye. Huh? Ha 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 ha. You are humorous, comedic. Shallock let you live, exist. What makes you so great? Huh? Watch yourself, mortal. Shallock see into soul metadata. Val sent mortal, human, animal. Huh? Val offer... It can read my thoughts. Yes, true. Shallock own eye, viewport, not mortal, human. Shallock not afraid of mortal. Shallock not need acknowledge human, animal. So... if this game has 4 levels, that doesn't necessarily mean it's short. On the itch store page... Yeah, everything's going good on the stream. On the itch store page, the number of people commented that they needed to make the game easier, or at least the first boss. At least the first fight, so that you could have a chance of winning. Okay. Human will die. So I just need to keep this dot away from all of this. Some attacks are easier than others. This one is trivial. This one's not too bad if you know how streaming works in the bullet hell sense. This is the bad one. Those lasers are so fast, and they are aimed at you, so if you do nothing, you'll always be hit. But moving just a little bit doesn't necessarily mean you'll dodge. In games where the bullets are aimed directly at you, you can just move left and right a little bit, and you'll always dodge them. But because the lasers are spread out in a random pattern, you can't guarantee that. And here's the last part, which is how you actually damage him. You just need to have the thing in front of you before the laser shoots. And then you repeat that twice. And that's the fight. I've done it once. I can probably do it again. But the first try did take me a lot of tries. Yep, you have to start all the way over, too. I don't think he actually gets any harder after you start dealing damage. It's just you have to survive 3 waves, which is a lot. If the game could only give me the bullet spread and the, like, missiles. Yeah, I tried to do small movements, and it kind of works, but not 100%. You kind of want to look for the big openings and make broad moves towards them. Your movement's not going to be that precise, but since the space is big, hopefully that's good enough. You always need to move, for sure. And you want to move towards the biggest open space to sort of make up for the fact that you're doing it quickly and you have very little time. The delay on appearing lasers like that is usually much longer in games like this. And games try to get you not so much with the speed of the lasers, but by trapping you. Here, they're getting you with the speed. There's no additional obstacles. It's just how fast it happens. And how the lasers are randomly arranged aside from the one aimed at you. That one didn't have any. That last one didn't have any really wide spots. Dang. You can see why people wanted this fight at least to be easier, so that players can get anywhere in the game. I'm not totally married to the idea of finishing this, mind, but I will give it a good faith effort. Probably at least an hour or 2. If I don't make any progress, then I'll definitely give up. It's the first time I've been hit by that. You can kind of see how the lasers are spreading. Dang. Talking while doing this makes it harder. You can kind of see how the lasers are spreading as they're forming. You can temporarily get out of the game area. That's interesting. I wonder if I can make use of that. Yeah, and you can stay out for quite a while, too. It says 3, 2, 1, but it's actually... Okay, you're still vulnerable. So it doesn't help. Ooh, that was a close one. You want to make sure you're not moving once the lasers actually fire, because at that point, it's a hit scan. If you go into the path of the laser, you're definitely getting hit. So you want to stop. You want to have already moved to your location. Once the lasers fire, movement doesn't help anymore. Trying to reposition is too late, because if the laser was already on top of you, you're already hit. And, if you're not already hit, they won't start to hit you. They don't move after being fired. Alright, that's hit number 1. Those orbs are sort of loosely aimed at you, so if you just, like, start on one end and end up on the other, you'll be fine. That was close. The laser was just a little too thick. Got in between some really thin ones there. This game strikes me as the type of game which obviously is made by one person, and an issue comes up when you're the only person making a game is you're also the only person to playtest it. And if you playtest the game that you yourself made, and you do that over and over again, you're going to get really good at it. Just inherently. And if you want to make a challenging game, how do you know it's challenging unless it's challenging to you? But a game that is challenging to someone who is already very good at the game is naturally going to be extremely challenging to someone who isn't that familiar with the game, to a new player to the game, unreasonably so. This sort of thing comes up a lot, where developers, especially like old Amiga era developers, would mention getting numb to the difficulties of their game and ramping it up because they want the game to be a good challenge, but having no idea what they should tune it to because they've gotten so good at it. This game really strikes me as having fallen into the same trap. Anytime you see the waves or the orbs, you're happy. Oh, that was the last one too, I bet. Oh, yeah, human will die. Alright, well, sometimes they're quick. Humanity having not succeeded in retrieving the Brump makes sense over the course of 1100 years, considering, you know, this. Sometimes games will be like, no one has managed to do this in 1,000 years, and then it's like a simple block pushing puzzle, you know, a simple Sokoban. And it feels a little disingenuous. This, I can believe it. Each of these failures, each of these lives, representing another human thrown into the blender of space. It makes sense that this would have taken quite a while. That was pretty close. Yeah, the attack phase, I mean, isn't guaranteed or anything. Oh, and incidentally, you can't go too far up. I shouldn't have tried to demonstrate. If you do, there's a barrier, like, just below him. That'll just kill you. There it is. If you touch that line, you die. Rubbing one eye while doing this, not great. Depth perception hard. Val. I moved after the laser fired, you see. That's why I got hit. This is the type of game that after every failure, you sort of have to reset your eyes. Move too fast. Because you're concentrating super hard, and when it doesn't go right, your brain's like, "Ugh!" That was close. It's best to hang out around the bottom of the screen for the lasers. That's where the biggest gaps are naturally gonna be. It's a little harder for the waves. It's a little harder for the waves. You kind of want to be near the sides around here to dodge those, but being at the center bottom isn't bad. That's good enough, and it's not that hard of an obstacle, so I'd rather take the good position for the much harder attack. So if the lasers weren't randomly arranged... a strategy where you just move left and right slowly would work. You can kind of go like... And you see, it did work there, but it won't always. But I'll try it for a few rounds, see if its success rate is better than winging it. Yeah, it might just be. And that may have been one of the things that the developer discovered. Yeah, see, it doesn't always work. That justified making the game hard. It's like, well, there's this one trick that if you do it, it usually works. But I could try slow moving with a quick twitch movement in the case that I see a cluster of lasers on top of me. That could work. Except I'm not really reacting to it anymore. I'm not looking for the big gaps when I'm doing the slow movement. I'm looking at myself, and if I do that, then I can't very easily find those big gaps that I need to quickly dash into. Oh boy. Maybe I'll try sticking more over here. See if that just works better. No, it doesn't. There are just as many lasers over there, and there are fewer good gaps. Duck and weave through those ones. They were too thick. I was actually pretty nicely in between them, but they thickened up. Just a reminder, this is the easiest one. It is largely, if you can survive 3 laser waves, you'll probably win. I haven't been paying attention to see if the attack waves are... I know they're in random orders, But are they always in the same amounts? Or is there a chance to get fewer laser waves? Now that's 2 laser waves before an attack opportunity. So I guess it's survive 6. It really does feel like surviving those lasers is chance-based as much as I try to do it skillfully. Like, this and the orbs I should be able to do every time. It's a matter of execution. But the lasers are just too fast. If there happens to be a big gap where my eyes are already looking, I can make it, probably. But if not, I just sort of have to wing it. And in that case, it's just some percent chance that I make it, or that I don't. Right, that was 3 laser waves before an attack. So it is random. So you could just be gifted with an attack set that includes fewer lasers. Ooh, that was a close one. And you can't let yourself get psyched out by a close miss and then fail something you should be able to get every time. It really does feel endless at times. Like I'm retrying this with no end in sight. Because I'm not consistently getting better. This isn't some training montage with an end goal. With the laser waves feeling like they do, even knowing the right strategy, presumably, I never feel confident. I'm not consistently getting to phases 2 and 3. It's just every time the lasers shoot, I flip a coin, and if it lands heads, then I get to go to the next one. But I have to flip that heads something like 6+ times, which is obviously very unlikely. But all while doing so, I can't lose focus, because if I do, I'll mess up on one of the ones that I can consistently do. And deaths like that are all the more demoralizing, all the more frustrating. What I'm saying is, this isn't a very good game. But it doesn't mean it shouldn't be played. You know, this might actually be a decent option for a bad video game tournament, because it's so quick that there's always the chance that someone could come from behind and take a victory. But it's so unreasonably hard that it's not a good game. Plus, it's not a platformer, which so many old bad games are. It adds a little variety. Of course, as you get, near the end, as I am now, your heart rate increases, you start getting nervous and shaky. It's shaky. is not what you want, but that is, oh baby. Present I. Huh. Yeah, me too, my dude. Wonderful. Where's the artifact? Exists inside Val. Can I have it? Val, need more. More? You said you could give me the artifact. Yeah, this is true. Human will receive, but Val need help. I'll play along for now. Val had mouth. Entity named current owner of mouth speaker. Scream. Val need mouth. Retrieve mouth. Right, so this is what I never got past. Hello, mortal. I am Excuse me, what brings you to me? Seems much easier to understand than the others. I'm here to retrieve Val's mouth. I see. I'm sure you and I would agree on the definition of ownership, yes? While Val did, at one point in time, have and utilize the mouth, Val currently does not have or utilize the mouth. I do. And so, unfortunately, I cannot give you the mouth, as it is unwise to forfeit property without an established transaction. A being as yourself can at least understand that. Please? Let me guess. Val has offered you the Val is using you. Val has claimed ownership of the for many eons. Unlike the mouth, which I rightfully have ownership and use, Val has never used the It is highly improbable Val has ownership of the What does the artifact do? A lower level entity like yourself would not understand. Mortals should not meddle in such affairs. The effects of its use are beyond the score of your limited thinking. Perhaps we could arrange something. Yes, an arrangement. An arrangement would make the situation far more transactional. If you can best my gauntlet, you may have the mouth. And deal. Prepare yourself. This one shoots more orbs, so that's already a higher level of difficulty. I think that was one more... False. I forgot he makes you do math. And even very basic math is so scary when you're stressed. I've never counted before in my life. 64. How dare you make me bleed my own math? False. 62. Oh, that's an 8. That's another thing. The font's not that great. Didn't even get to the first hit. Unless there are no hits, that could be. Oh, jeez. Horizontal lasers. That means that no amount of, I suppose you could do like this. A slow diagonal. Yeah, let's try, so many lasers. Slow strafing strats can kinda work. True. That's still easy, which is good. 32. Yeah, slow movement seems pretty good. 60. Give me more math. It'll be really embarrassing if I get it wrong, but it is pretty easy. Too clustered. Six, which looks a lot like the 8 in this font. Too clustered. And there's no amount of speed, no correct speed that would avoid the clusters, because any that would let you get away from a tight cluster will send you right into a loose one. 89. And so any speed you settle on is merely a little more likely to work. And we get back to that issue of this feeling random. I got bamboozled. They were going all over the place. False. The math, on the other hand, is trivial. Whenever the slow movement strategy works, it makes it feel like, oh, well, that's what I should always be doing, but... well, when it works, it's just because the odds played out in your favor. So the line at the top is the timer that I need to survive. This goes on for a while. This is definitely the best I've done so far. Yeah, more of these. Because not only are they easy, they also take a while, which... too clustered. Which means there's more time for the timer to run down. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the streaming approach, the slow movement. It just kinda works somewhat consistently. I didn't there. I tried to make small movements quickly to get out of the way, and it didn't work. Not even close. He shotgunned me. Just give me that forever, and we'll be Gucci. True. Yeah, the timer does move while the math countdown is happening. I don't know how long I'll attempt this. I don't think anyone could rightfully blame me for giving up. Ah! If I had moved just a little bit less, I think I could have made it in there. It's impressive how much math one forgets. I panicked. I think I would have made it if I just stayed the course. How much math one forgets when under pressure. Not even close. Yeah, just give me that and the math and we're buddies, we're pals. I was even already moving in the right way, and it didn't matter. Wonder how many coin flips this one is. I mean, my best run, I probably got like 8 or 9 of them. And again, we're on the situation where I'm not consistently getting better. I'm still dying on the first or second attack sometimes. It's just one time I made it about halfway through. And while talking is distracting, that's really not the case, the cause. I'm not really winning when I'm paying more attention. And I'm not losing when I'm distracted. I'm losing when I'm dealt a bad pattern, and I'm winning when I'm dealt a good one. When the pattern already is complying with my strategy. Clusters are okay when I'm doing the dash to a safe spot method, but not when I'm doing the slow streaming, and vice versa. It kind of feels like there might be some sort of pattern to the lasers, because instinctually I just sort of move like this much. Thanks. And it kind of works. But again, I don't know that for sure. It's a little scarier when they don't aim at you and they just sort of fire wherever. Because then I just have to watch them all individually, like with chameleon eyes. It jiggled right into me. You got it, boss. Such a long timer. Too much cluster, not enough movement. Yeah, there's nothing to it. I mean, it is just do it good. Like, I'm not missing anything. It is just that hard. Once again, the 6 and the 8 looking so similar is bugging me. I'm gonna try more standing still and moving quickly at the last moment. See how that works out for a little while. I moved just a tiny bit after it shot. I was actually safe. Oops. I was actually safe, and then I moved into death. They'll never take me alive. What was a third of the waves is now like the vast majority of the waves, it feels like. And so, what was 6 coin flips is now like 20. Although I suppose, at least for the vertical lasers, going off the side of the screen should be safe, right? And for the horizontal ones, going off the screen to the bottom should be safe. You can't go off the bottom. You cannot go off the bottom. Although, like in a game this hard, you want to look for the cheese. And what if lasers never spawn on the bottom pixel? Oh, I disagree with that. I suppose it's true that every laser is aimed at you. They're definitely on the bottom layer. So, going off the side, we'll just spawn one there. Yeah, I kind of figured. I attempted to find cheese and did not find it. Can this just be Ur's perfect math class? I think I'd really appreciate that. How many buses are there in Gensokyo? Or how many buses would it take to bring that many? None, because there are no buses in Gensokyo. Na 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 na. That's how many people are on the bus. None, because there's no buses in Gensokyo. There, I remembered the joke. This pattern's perfect. If you could keep this up for the whole round, I'd make it. Love to see it. Yeah, just give me more of the math. It was going well. I mean, it was probably my second best attempt. I've sort of decided that for vertical and horizontal lasers, I'm going to do the slow streaming. And for spread lasers, I'm going to do the dash to a safe spot. Neither strategy is perfect by any means, but I think those are the best methods for each one, because the safe spots with parallel lasers are generally smaller or less obvious. And the diagonal nature of the spread lasers can kind of trip you up in the case of streaming, because the pixels needed to render them make them a little make those lines a little thicker. It's like I dodged 2 or 3 attacks and I think, yeah, I'm almost done, right? No. There's a little bit of correction that I do on the parallel lasers in the case that I see it's not going well. But not a ton. I thought I could tell when those would home and when they wouldn't by the sounds they make when they spawn, but that's not the case. Because the sound that I heard was what I thought was the homing one, or the non-homing one, and it was homing. And you can see on the middle laser there, I sort of quickly corrected and dashed to the side after I realized there was a cluster. Whew. 90. It's a good thing there's no distractions when you're doing the math. Nothing to, like, avoid while you're in the bubble. I don't want to give them ideas. Ugh! You really start concentrating and your heart gets faster, and then once you lose, it snaps you out of it immediately. And it really pushes those noises out of you. When you die on the first or second attack or something, your brain's like, yeah, no, whatever. Just do it again. But once you're a little ways in and you're invested, a loss there, it pushes a lot of air that you'd been holding in out. A lot of the breath you've been saving just gets expelled in a noise. Ugh, that's scary. That's a non-homing one. That is what I like to see. No lasers yet on this wave. That's pretty good. And the good blessing continues. Not moving fast enough. boy, this artifact better be worth it. It better not be some evil thing that we don't want to have. Because you know what they said about ambition? According to Icarus, it's real cool. Imagine the budget needed to send this many people into space just to have them inevitably fail. Obviously, it's a lot of lives. But it's also an astronomical amount of money. Like, I'm frustrated because I keep losing at this video game. But I bet the government in charge of sending out these missions is extra frustrated after 1,100 years of failure. And money thrown into the literal void. Yeah, we're sending you on like a one-way trip pod, because you're not gonna make it back, and we gotta save costs. Ah, bruh. This where Kusogate match should be wrapping up by now. I'd like to see what some people who are really good at this sort of thing could do in an hour. Even having never experienced it before. A boo, a boo, a boo. When you notice that they're not aimed at you, you just sort of stand still and wait to see how it's gonna go. You might need to move out of the way, you might not. Unlike the lasers where standing still is always gonna get you hit. 100% of the time, they're aimed right at you. Yeah, come and get me, come and get me. Oh, they got me. You'll never take me alive. I'm coming up to the end of my patience. In a game that's also good, as well as being hard, or a game that I felt I was making consistent progress, I could tolerate failure for a pretty long time. One time I tried to beat Quickman in Mega Man 2 blindfolded. And it took me 4 hours. And I wasn't even recording it or anything. I just wanted to see if I could do it. And I did. You sort of get the feel for it, you know? So even though he's random, and lots of attempts died quickly, I felt like I was learning how to do the fight better. Here, though, I still don't have any better strategy than what I think works sometimes okay on the lasers. And it really is just a crapshoot. And sometimes I die on the very first attack, and it's like, well then what's the past half hour meant? The strategy I've worked out, again, just doesn't work plenty of times. with no sense of growth, there's little little desire to want to try to finish it, because ultimately the winning run isn't the one where I play the best, really. It's the one where I get the luckiest. And if I really just wanted to flip a coin a bunch until it came up heads enough times, well, I got coins. So while this is technically skillful, it just doesn't feel like it. And that's the issue with making a game too hard once you become too comfortable with it. Is while you intend to make a hard game, you kind of accidentally make what feels like a luck-based game. And your entire ethos of going in to make something that challenges and rewards skill just doesn't anymore. So if you're a solo developer and you're trying to make a challenging game, it really behooves you to get at least one tester who's not familiar with it once you get late into production. If you stick with that one tester for the whole time, they'll just run into the same problem. They'll get too good at it. You can test by yourself, for a while, but eventually you'll become too skilled. And then you need a new, fresh pair of eyes to tell you, dude, what am I even supposed to do here? This is ridiculous. I've spent an hour on this fight, and I'm still frequently dying on the first attack. What do you want from me? This isn't fun, and it doesn't even feel challenging anymore. It just feels unfair. That's what I think a lot of people don't get about old games is, oh, they're hard. Well, yeah, but more than that, they're unreasonable. There are lots of very hard games that are very fair. That's what Dark Souls became known for, of course. But there are lots of hard games that are so unfair as to be meaningless. That overcoming them doesn't give that rush that overcoming a difficult but fair game does. And that's the issue that this has fallen into. About the only reason, there's two reasons why someone would continue to play this game, really, at this point. One is stubbornness. I won't let this game beat me. And don't worry, I'm not that stubborn. There are some people who can continue to fail at something for hours and hours and hours, making little progress, but keep at it, and eventually making it. And that's a great trait to have. I don't have it. The other reason is because they're streaming it and want to make a catalog of a bunch of games people have never heard of or played before. And so they want to give every game a good fair shake. That other group is me. That's the joke. But I've given this I think a fair enough shake. If it were a baby, it would have severe brain damage. Because heaven knows I do. I don't know how long I'll keep going. There's just that part of my brain that says, no, you're good. That part of my brain just stopped saying anything. That part of my brain just said, you know what? Actually, that was the last straw. Well, you can check out settings and yeah, there's no difficulty selector. That's enough of that. That I will not be returning to. Other games that I haven't finished, yeah, I'll come back to and finish them up. But that one doesn't get the benefit. Not all games on this list need to be completed. Indeed, there are plenty of games on the list that are uncompletable. They're open-ended, non-terminating games. This is presumably a terminating game, but that doesn't mean I have to finish it. I set my own parameters. And my parameters here are, after the game has toyed with me for, what, an hour now? Yeah, about an hour exactly. Then I've had enough. So, that's it. That's it for Pragma. You won't be seeing it again. And that is the end of the stream. I will not be streaming tomorrow on Monday because I have a dentist visit. But otherwise, the schedule will be the same as last week. I'll be finishing up Coffee Talk and playing a few new games. I've already got them picked out. I've already got the schedule made, and I'll be posting it shortly. But until then...